Hey guys, in this video I want to tell you all about a new approach to online piano lessons that I've been using and testing out in my studio with some of my students, particularly those students who are interested in classical music at the late beginner and intermediate level. So if you are a pianist and you are interested in this sort of music, this video is very much for you. I've been teaching online for several years now, and I've been teaching online exclusively since the beginning of 2018, and I've been wondering since I started teaching online, is there a way to make some of this process more efficient, a little less redundant, a little bit more flexible? Is there a way to improve on the model of online one-on-one lessons? And I've also noticed that a lot of the students I tend to attract tend to be like late beginners and intermediate level students. They've completed the first couple of method books or whatever, and they've started to ascend the ladder of classical music, and they're on that first or second rung or so of it. And at this level, there's really not a whole lot of options, which has resulted in a lot of my students picking or being interested in the same sorts of pieces. So I find myself teaching a lot of the same sorts of pieces, answering the same sorts of questions, addressing the same sorts of issues. And this really got me thinking, is there a way to automate some of this? Is there a way to create some sort of reference where students can address the issues that are sort of universal and save the lesson for the kinds of issues that are like really unique to them? Which, believe it or not, especially at the lower level, there's not a lot of like really unique issues. There's a lot of similar sorts of things that students tend to struggle with at certain levels. So that's just something I've noticed. And so to address this, I have come up with the concept of a membership where you can essentially become an asynchronous student of mine. So instead of like taking one-on-one lessons or whatever, you would be a member and you would access a private dashboard where there are a bunch of courses, and each of these courses are focused on like a particular collection of classical repertoire. And then there is one additional course that is for like general practice tips, and it's all organized by topic. And I'm constantly adding content in here, and I'm essentially like pre-recording lessons. Whenever I have a situation like right after a lesson where I deal with an issue with a student that I notice is just a frequently encountered issue, I make a video on it and I put it in this membership, and I edit it and make it efficient, everything, title it, and organize it. And then with regards to the rest of the courses, they're all based on like common classical music at this intermediate level, you would say. So like Bergmuller Opus 100, First Lessons in Bach, the Bach Little Preludes, to some extent, Czerny Opus 599, Schumann Album for the Young, Sonatina album, like Clementi Sonatina's Opus 36, maybe some of the easier Grieg lyric pieces. These are the sorts of pieces that I've created courses on, and in these courses, I have pre-recorded lessons where I'm showing you how like the right hand of something might work, how the left hand of something might work, what both hands would sound like really slow, how to count these pieces. I've got general lessons on them, like how to interpret them. And it's basically based on what students need. So it's sort of an open canvas. I've got plenty of recordings in there now, but students of the membership can request topics or particular recordings or particular like measures for me to cover, and I will make a video and I'll drop it in there, and it's available to everybody. So it lets me work like early morning or in the middle of the night and say something once and say it best. And it lets students access recordings of things or lessons on things whenever they want. We all have taken lessons, and we all know what it's like to get fuzzy or have like a fuzzy idea as to what a teacher might have showed us or what it sounded like a few days before. And we're trying to recall it in our practice, and it's just like, it's not exact, but if we had a recording of the lesson or whatever, it'd just be so helpful. So like this is really built with that in mind. I'm not really trying to replace like piano lessons, because there's no way for me to replace the feedback component of piano lessons. And that's like kind of the core lesson experience, is that you play for a teacher and the teacher critiques you and tells you what you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know, and that's the whole purpose of taking lessons. But there's more to a lesson than the feedback component. There's also the demonstration component, and this is the part that I'm looking to automate through this membership. And so I have a few students in there now, and they are really enjoying it. I'm making content for them, and I am looking to open this up to more students. So if you're interested in this sort of thing, you can use a link in the video description below, and there's a trial. There's a safe way to try it out. And once again, this is a way for you to become a student of mine without actually having to participate in one-on-one lessons. But if you use this membership and you are studying this sort of music, you certainly would not need as many lessons. Like, this is something that I think could save students a fortune, a huge amount of money over the course of a year, because then lessons would be reduced to unique concepts that the student needs addressed and feedback. And so maybe you wouldn't need as long of a lesson, or maybe you wouldn't need as frequent of lessons, or maybe you're not in a period right now where you can afford or dedicate the time to have lessons. And so something like this can really get you by because I'm responding to the needs of the students that are in there. It's not like I have built this thing and then I'm like walking away from it and letting it serve students completely autonomously. I am very much active in it. And so I'm still like I would be your instructor. I'm just making the recordings for everybody to see based on what you specifically might need. And to do that, I'm using this camera setup where I've got the multicam, I've got stereo mics. It's all very high end. So I'm definitely aiming for production value, and I'm going after these intermediate level pieces. So this is something I'm very excited about, and I've been working on for a while. I've been testing it out on my students in my studio and like iterating on it and finally coming up to the point where I feel like this is a good idea and this is something that I think is going to appeal to a lot of students. So that is the purpose of this video today, is to tell you all about this new membership for piano students at least initially at the late beginner to intermediate level. At some point, I'm going to create a part of the membership that's dedicated towards onboarding students who are complete beginners. And of course, I will also eventually expand this out to more advanced students as well. Like, for example, I'm interested in creating a course that's like the easiest music of Chopin or the easiest music of Liszt. Like the kinds of pieces that you want to first explore a composer with. There will be courses that are completely focused on that. So if this sounds interesting to you, I would encourage you to give the link in the description a click and check out that page, learn about the membership, maybe take a trial, ask me questions or leave a comment if you have any questions. And I hope this is something that interests you. And I will be following up this video over the next several months, probably just for the foreseeable future, with samples from in the membership. So I'll be doing like practice demonstrations or maybe particular parts of pieces or whatever, like anything that I feel like might be of value to this channel. I'll drop some of that stuff on this channel. But of course, if you become a member, you can request things to be created for you, and you can access like everything in a very organized and time-saving and cost-effective way. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.